Hey Mavis, do you see that weirdo over there? Yeah, I see her. What's she doing? I no idea. But she keeps coming here and looking at us and pointing that thing. Who you talking about? Who? Oh, I see her. Oh, dang it. I don't know. She looks sketchy. Let's hide. As we make our way up the ramp towards the overlook at Fort Dickerson Park, I am captivated by the sight of the turquoise waters of Augusta Quarry, formerly known as Lamberts Quarry. The City of Knoxville has recognized it as one of the best preserved earthen forts from the Civil War era. The stories about this place are both fascinating and disheartening to me. I'm drawn to its stunning beauty, not to swim in, of course, but to admire it from a distance. However, this beauty is marred by danger and death. And for many people, it's a place of profound sadness. The waters hold the final moments of their loved ones' lives. If you stay with me, I'll share more about this tragic aspect of the quarry. I am your host, LT Bartek. Fort Dickerson Park, which is located near the Henley Bridge in South Knoxville, showcases the historic Civil War Fort Dickinson and offers a breathtaking view of Augusta Quarry. Fort Dickinson was named after Captain Jonathan C. Dickinson of the 112th Illinois Mounted Infantry. He died in battle near Cleveland, Tennessee during the Civil War. This park pays tribute to the Battle of November 13 to 15, 1963, which saw the construction of an earthen fort by Union soldiers overlooking the Tennessee River to thaw Confederate forces from taking control of Knoxville. The fort was of immense importance in the Union's defense strategy as it helped secure the high ground, which could have allowed the enemy to bombard the city with artillery fire. Although never directly attacked, Fort Dickinson exchanged gunfire with Confederate forces during the siege of Knoxville. The park has been open to the public since 1957, and its accessibility via a road has made it a popular spot for visitors. During the first half of the 20th century, limestone excavation led to the formation of the quarry, which began on the 1,000-foot hill where the Union Civil War fort once stood. As a result of years of excavation and land erosion, coupled with the cessation of water pumping in the 1970s, the quarry gradually filled with water, giving rise to the lake. The deepest part of this quarry has been recorded to reach a depth of approximately 300 feet. Because of its depth, the Knox County Rescue Squad cannot safely dive to the bottom. It is one of the deepest quarries in Tennessee. And per a Knoxville Fire Department spokesperson, there are at least 3 deaths yearly where untrained swimmers drown. Now, one would think that this is caused by someone not knowing how to swim, but not in the majority of these cases. People would go to the lookout point and dive from that little piece of land jutting out. But what they don't account for is that when diving from such a height, which is possibly 70 to 90 feet, they will be hitting the water at such velocity that the impact could be like hitting concrete. At some point, the quarry is as shallow as 15 feet. Their bodies would usually have evidence of broken ribs, leg and arm bones, and bruises all over their bodies. The impact would knock the breath from their bodies, knocking them unconscious, and would result in death. Plus, for added effect, there are snakes in the water. Though there are signs posted all around this area, some people still ignore them, not realizing the risk to their lives. I was astonished by something that happened while we were there to prove the point I just made. As we were getting ready to leave, we noticed 2 adults and 3 children walking up the ramp to take in the sight. While the 2 adults looked on beyond the barrier, 2 of the 3 children, one boy maybe 7 years old and the girl maybe 11 or 12, climbed through the barrier towards the cliff where so many had died. It was a while before the adults noticed them. I will withhold my comments about this, but as a mother, I can't see how this happened. There were sadly 2 deaths that occurred at the Knoxville Quarry in 2020. One on the 2nd of August, when a man whose name I will withhold was last seen on a float in the waters of the quarry. Witnesses saw him fall off the float, but he never resurfaced. His body was found the next day. Then, later in the same month, the body of another young man was found 2 days later on Tuesday, August 25th, after swimming with his friends at the quarry. He had been swimming with his friends around 8 p.m. on Sunday, August 23rd, when he decided to dive from the west side of the quarry. He went under, but didn't resurface. Signs have been placed around this quarry since 2017, when a cliff diver drowned there. The victim was a 27-year-old man who had gone swimming with his friends. Then around 7:45 p.m., a rescue squad was called in when the man didn't resurface. The squad got to work and dived and searched through the night. Then at 12:45 a.m., in about 165 feet of water, they located his body. Below the surface of this quarry, there is almost no visibility. The victim had jumped from a height of 50 to 65 feet from off of the cliff. Upon hitting the concrete of water, he never resurfaced. The worrying thing is that people think that won't happen to them, and so they ignore the signs and risk not only their lives but the lives of others, as in the case of this incident. In one attempt to locate the body of a jumper who had not resurfaced, one of the rescue divers sustained a dive-related emergency and had to be taken to the hospital. He later recovered, though. So people, if you do get to visit this location, please heed the warnings. And as one of my friends would say to me all the time, if you can't be good, be careful. Now on to a more cheerier note. While hunting for information about this story, we discovered some interesting things about Knoxville, Tennessee. I have picked out a few to share with you. One of the funnier ones is Knoxville has been designated as the streaking capital of the world. This was done by Walter Cronkite in 1974 because in the spring of that year, an estimated 5,000 people took off their clothes on Cumberland Avenue. At this time, this was called stripping on the strip. Knoxville was settled in 1791 and established in 1792, then later became incorporated in 1815. Indians were the first settlers of Knoxville and East Tennessee. When the first European settlers appeared, the Cherokee dominated the region. On May 1st, 1890, the inaugural electric streetcar made its maiden voyage in Knoxville, traversing from Gay Street to what is currently recognized as Chilowee Park. McGee Tyson Airport in Knoxville, close to the city of Alcoa, is named in honor of Knoxville native and fighter pilot Lieutenant Charles McGee Tyson. He was shot down in World War I over Britain's North Sea. The Henley Bridge is named after Colonel David Henley. He was a Revolutionary War hero who was sent to Knoxville in 1793 by then President George Washington to represent the War Department. In the late 1940s, the soft drink Mountain Dew had its beginning with Hartman Beverages in Knoxville. Knoxville was the capital of both the territory and state of Knoxville. Knoxville was home to the 1982 World's Fair. Attendance was recorded at 11,127,786 visitors. The Sun's Fair, built for the 1982 World's Fair, is 266 feet tall and has 26 stories. The actual ball itself houses 5 levels. When it hosted the World's Fair, Knoxville was the smallest city ever to host an international exposition. Knoxville had the last successful World's Fair held in America. The first touchscreen computer displays were demonstrated in the U.S. Pavilion at the 1982 World's Fair in Knoxville. Knoxville's Jake Butcher and his brother caused the 4th largest bank failure in history. East Knoxville businessman William Hopper volunteered in World War II as an instructor to train the mostly black Red Ball Express, which became one of the most decorated U.S. convoy units in Europe. During 1860, Knox County was home to over 20,000 white citizens and over 2,000 slaves. The first train arrived in Knoxville in 1855. Back in 1901, while in the Old City, present-day Knoxville, Kid Curry, a notorious member of Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch, shot a pair of deputies, then fled through the rear window of a building on Central Avenue. After being apprehended, he was confined to Knoxville jail, yet managed to escape and was last sighted crossing the Gay Street Bridge atop the sheriff's stolen horse. Seven lakes surround Knoxville. They are Cherokee, Douglas, Fort Loudon, Melton Hill, Norris, Watts Bar, and Tellico. The creator of Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino, a famous actor and director, was born in Knoxville. MTV stuntman and actor Johnny Knoxville also grew up in Knoxville. Mary Costa, best known as the voice of Disney's Sleeping Beauty, was born in Knoxville. Knoxville is at the crossroad of 3 major interstates: I-75, I-40, and I-81. The corporate headquarters of the Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, is located in Knoxville. TVA was created by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933 to provide electricity for all. The city of Knoxville shares its name with Knoxville, Georgia, Knoxville, Iowa, Knoxville, Maryland, Knoxville, Pennsylvania, and New Knoxville, Ohio. Knoxville is 20 miles south of Oak Ridge National Laboratory, which was instrumental in developing the atomic bomb. NFL star Peyton Manning and Eric Berry played for UT in Knoxville. The only museum devoted to women's basketball Hall of Fame, is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Downtown Knoxville is 936 feet above sea level. Knoxville Zoo is the red panda capital of the world, having the greatest success in the breeding and survival of baby red pandas. In 1978, the Knoxville Zoo had the first African elephant bred and born in captivity in the Western Hemisphere. Her name was Little Diamond. Knoxville is home to more than 20 museums and 7 historical houses. Knoxville is home to cable TV's HGTV, one of the fastest growing networks in cable history, reaching nearly 84 million households in less than 9 years. And that concludes this video, folks. If you found it enjoyable, kindly click the like button to let YouTube know that others might appreciate it too. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and select the all option so you won't miss any of my upcoming weekly videos. Don't forget to visit my website, Somestoriesofmine.gov, to peruse some of my novellas. Additionally, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for added bonuses and exclusive content. You will find all my links below. Always remember to prioritize self-love and care for those around you. I'll catch you on the next one. Love you. Bye.